Mom, can we talk? Can I ask you a question? A question about a suggestion that was made by a man in the streets of Jerusalem. He stopped me on the street and he stared at my bare feet and my forearms and my knees, and he told me that my immodesty was the reason our temples burned down. That my disrespect was just neglect to the traditions of our fathers who built up our religion, whose tradition was the ammunition that kept our people alive. But can we just thrive on payas and beards as hate waits and grows like mold as our modern Jewish story unfolds? Mom, can I ask you a question? A question about a suggestion that was made by a man in the aisles of the sanctuary. Warily his eyes followed me as I stood with the members of the clergy. And when he asked me which one of the men was my father, I pointed at you. You who stood tall in your prayer shawl amidst the crowd of men. But then in this man's eyes, I knew I went from being a quintessential epitome of religious imagery to an unnerving case of absurdity. He looked at me as if that fact were so hard to grasp, as if a woman could stand on the bima, as if a woman could teach the Torah, as if a woman could speak out loud, as if anybody would listen. Mom, can I ask you a question? A question about a suggestion that was made by a man on the television. He told me that when I grow up, it will be just my luck that'll make 77 cents paying the expense of not being a man. But Mom, it was nowhere in my plans to be submissive, to be dismissive, to be pessimistic simply because I'll believe in the antagonistic words of this man on the television. Mom, can I ask you a question? Were you scared 25 years ago? Were you scared as you were ordained? Did you still feel chained to the notion that you were just a disgust to our tradition? No one told me that you were a pioneer, that you led the frontier of women of your years. No one told me that it wasn't like this everywhere, that women across the nation still await the creation of people like you. Mom, can I ask you a question? A question about your suggestion that this world is ready to change, ready to rearrange the hierarchy of intellect, ready to suggest that just because I can give life doesn't mean it should be taken from me. Years ago, you dared to ask this dangerous question. And as an offender with the norm, you were a contender with the reforming of our world. But there are still so many questions left unanswered. So, Mom, can I ask you a question?